Today we're going to read this story, Moonbear's Shadow. We're finishing up our Shadows and Reflections unit, and this story actually isn't even in our curriculum, but it's just a great story about shadows, so I wanted to read it to you. Okay? This is Moonbear's Shadow. You can see the picture of a shadow right here. Oh, and look, there's the butterfly shadow too. One day, Bear went down to the pond with his fishing pole and a can of worms. While he was putting a worm on his hook, he looked down and saw a big fish. See that fish in the water? I'm going to catch that fish, Bear thought to himself. Here he is trying to catch the fish. But when Bear stood up to throw his line in the water, his shadow scared the big fish away. Go away, Shadow, cried Bear. But Bear's shadow would not go away. You see how his shadow scared the fish away? And he wants his shadow to go away. Why do you think his shadow won't go away? Can his shadow go away? What do you think? Let's see. There it is, following. See? Sorry, there's like a glare on the book, I know. Okay, said Bear, if you won't go on your own, then I'll just have to get rid of you. And he put down his fishing pole and began to run. He ran around the pond, and when he got to the other side, he kept on running. See him trying to run away from his shadow up there? Doesn't look like it's working, does it? He ran through a field of flowers, jumped over the brook, and hid behind a tree. Good, Bear thought. Now Shadow can't find me. See him hiding behind the tree? Now his shadow can't find him. But Bear was wrong. When he stepped out from behind the tree, the first thing he saw was his shadow. Why do you think he couldn't see his shadow when he was behind the tree? You think he was standing in the shadow of the tree, right? So the tree was blocking the light from making his shadow. He was standing in the tree's shadow. But when he moved over, his shadow was there again. Nearby was a cliff. Bear walked over to the cliff and looked up. I'll climb so high Shadow won't be able to find me, thought Bear. Let's see if that works. Here he goes. Bear climbed higher and higher until at last he pulled himself to the top. Huffing and puffing, he smiled with pride. Then he looked down, and what do you think he saw? His shadow. Oh, he must be so disappointed. He climbed that whole cliff, and his shadow was still there. Now Bear was very annoyed, so he went home and got a hammer and some nails to nail his shadow to the ground. He's putting all these nails, and he's going to nail his shadow right into the ground. Do you think it'll stay there? If he nails it down, let's see. He hammered and hammered, but no matter how many nails he hammered, he couldn't nail his shadow down. You see in that picture? The nails make the shape of the bear. He put so many in there. If I can't nail him down, thought Bear, maybe I can bury him. So he got his shovel and dug a hole. When the hole was deep and wide, he let his shadow fall into the hole. There it is. The shadow's in the hole now. Let's see if he can bury it. Then Bear filled in the hole with dirt. When he was finished, it was almost noon. The sun was high in the sky, and Shadow was nowhere to be seen. At last, sighed Bear, no more shadow. So he thinks he buried the shadow in there. But look where the sun is, and maybe that will give you a clue why he doesn't see a shadow. The light is here. It's shining straight this way, right? Let's see. But now Bear was very tired. He climbed a cliff, and he did all the hammering and digging, so now he's very tired. So he went inside and took a little nap. While he slept, time passed, and the sun, once again, cast shadows everywhere. Can you see as the sun is moving? It's making shadows, moving over more and more and more. So the shadows are moving too, right? Remember, when the source where the light is coming from moves, the shadows move. When Bear got up and opened his door, he saw his shadow on the floor. Not you again, exclaimed Bear, and and he slammed the door, hoping to lock Shadow inside. But Shadow was too quick. There he is. Followed him outside. Sighed Bear. How about this? If you let me catch a fish, I'll let you catch one too. Nod your head like this if it's a deal. So if he nods his head, what's going to happen to Shadow? He'll also nod, right? When Bear nodded his head, Shadow nodded too. So Bear went back to the pond and once again threw his line in the water. By this time, the sun was in a different part of the sky, which made it easy for Shadow to keep up his part of the deal. So now, the sun is on the opposite side of the sky, so his shadow is going the opposite way, right? See this? Before the sun was on this side, shining his shadow to the water. Now the sun's over here, shining his shadow that way. So hopefully it won't scare away fish again. Let's see. And when Bear caught that big fish, Shadow got one too. You see that? He caught a fish, and look, there's the fish's shadow. Isn't that a nice book?